Allison Campolo, Chairwoman of the Tarrant County Democratic Party. Thank you so much, and welcome back to Eye on Politics.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. So let's talk about the major upset victory for Democrat Taylor Rehmet in State Senate District 9 on Saturday night, who handily defeated Republican Leigh Wambsganss. What's your
Yeah.
reaction?
We're elated. We felt like this was going to be our outcome, but even though we felt like we were going to win, the results were even better than we hoped for. I mean, this is our most optimistic projection was him getting 57, 58%, which he did, and we're just ecstatic that he was able to get it over the finish line to that degree for sure.
Why did you think this was going to happen?
We've seen a ton of energy from the Democratic side, and we're seeing a lot of low energy from the Republican side. So she's just not a very popular candidate within her own party. And at the same time, we saw Democrats from all over the state of Texas come in to pull for this campaign. They brought a Texas flavor to it. It wasn't like it got national attention and there were people flooding the state. These were homegrown Tarrant County Texans working this campaign, whether they be elected officials, candidates, allied organizations, just volunteers, precinct chairs. People from all over the county and all over the state came in to help us to work this election, and that really made a difference.
And I was going to ask you because you brought up Wambsganss was not popular in her party. How do you know that?
Well, none of the John Huffman voters came out to vote for her. So they all stayed home or they voted for Taylor. And so that was her primary opponent, of course, in the November jungle primary. And then we just saw a lot of reactions online. She, of course, was the communications director for Patriot Mobile. And the split in the Keller ISD that she basically helped bring around through Patriot Mobile was profoundly unpopular. She's seen as an enemy of public education, an enemy of the independent school district. And I think her decisions and actions in those past instances really came in to bite her, and she's just not very popular.
And so was this just an anti-vote, a vote against her, or did people like Remet's message?
Both things are true at the same time. So Democrats love Taylor, and I think all the independents broke for Taylor too. He ran an excellent progressive message of public education, public health care, an economy that works for everybody. And at the same time, Leigh did not pick up any extra Republican voters and struggled to even get her own base back out to vote for her between the November special election and the January runoff.
And have you had a chance to look at the precinct map, how each precinct voted? And
Yeah.
if so, what, if any, surprises are there?
So of course we saw kind of what we were expecting, which was that the whole district, pretty much every single precinct, went bluer in January for the runoff than it did in 2024 or in 2022 during the last elections in that same area. So much bluer. The surprise for me, so I knew Keller was pretty irritated with Leigh, so I knew Keller was going to be a bit bluer in this runoff. But the pleasant surprise for me was how much Fort Worth and the north side became even bluer. So the turnout really increased in the north side and Fort Worth, despite there not being any polling locations in early voting. And then Fort Worth went even bluer than it already was. And so it's a really impressive swing from an already kind of blue area to get even bluer because Taylor really resonated with his Democratic messaging. And so that was an excellent surprise for us all.
And so the Republicans say in November there are going to be a lot more Republicans on the ballot. Obviously, this was just one race, but you've got Senate race, you've got the governor's race, all the way down. So there'll be more Republicans out there. They think there will be a different outcome in November. What do you
Yeah.
say to that, and how do you keep that from happening and have a repeat in this race?
So I think they're hoping to have a different outcome, but it's not going to be true. So Taylor didn't win this race by a little bit. He won it by 14 points. He swung this race over 30 points since this race was last held in 2022 for District 9. And they can't make up that ground. They can't make up a 30-point swing countywide. They can't make up a 14-point swing in SD9. There's going to be more Republicans on the ballot. There's going to be more Republican voters coming in November. But guess what? There's going to be a full Democratic slate. We're the only party challenging every single state house race. We have more judicial candidates than we've had in years. We have an incredibly excited base to come out and vote for Democrats. We have people who aren't just voting against the current regime, but voting for our Democratic message, for progressive campaigns. And so, yeah, there'll be more Republicans in November, but there'll be way more Democrats. And so we're not only going to hold on to SD9, but that race, that win, is going to carry us to win every single race that's important to us, from county judge to county clerk to every single judicial race to flipping several state house seats. This will be a clean sweep for Democrats come November.
And why do you think that?
Well, because Taylor Rehmet just had a 30-point swing in SD9 in Fort Worth, Texas, which used to be a Republican stronghold. And our energy is just going up and up and up. Of course, we have not just this SD9 race, but we have now a pattern this year. So, well, the last calendar year, I should say. So, of course, the Tarrant County GOP went 0 for 12 in May. They just lost their pinnacle SD9 race here in Tarrant County. The Tarrant County GOP is profoundly unpopular right now, and they're going to keep losing races all the way till November. Their brand is not good. They're not messaging well. Even with their own Republicans, their party is losing their own base. And then, of course, Democrats are picking up more and more candidates, more and more voters. Their messaging is really, really resonating with all of our voters here in Tarrant County. So as we continue to increase our outreach and our voters and our base, we're going to keep winning, and we're going to flip all these seats come November.
And how many altogether? You mentioned a lot there.
How many candidates, you mean?
Well, how many seats do you think you're going to flip in Tarrant County?
Well, so I am quite certain that we're going to flip every county-wide we have. So we have, county judge, district clerk, county clerk. Those are our standard county-wide ones. We have 12 candidates running for judge. We have our DA. So we're now getting into the teens as far as county-wide races. I feel pretty confident we're going to flip at least 3 or 4 state house seats. We're really going to sweep. We're going to flip some justice of the peace seats as well. I feel very confident we're going to be flipping quite a few things come November.
And do you think that the outcome here will encourage the national party to invest more in the statewide candidates, specifically for U.S. Senate?
Definitely, yes. I think there's going to be a profound increase in investment, not just from the national campaigns, national party, but even from donors within Texas. A big problem has been that Democratic donors donate outside of Texas. They send their money outwards. And same thing for Tarrant County. They send their money outwards. And that's just not going to be the case. We're seeing money stay here at home, and we're seeing money come in. So the nation is seeing how important Fort Worth is, how important Tarrant County is, and money is coming in, whether it be from high dollar donors in states across the nation or from the national committee. I think they're all going to be investing here in Tarrant County and here in Texas.
Last question, and I know we've pointed this out, but because the legislature is not in session this year, Rehmet may not very well have anything to vote on. And so what do you make of that? And does this at least give Democrats bragging rights at the very least?
It absolutely gives Democrats bragging rights, and it really sets the stage for the November election politically and kind of like the vibe, right? So we're not looking at a November where it's close or where Democrats are just going to lose by a little bit anymore. We're looking at a November because of the way this race has set the stage politically. We're looking at a November where we can sweep everything. This is going to give every single campaign that much more gas in the tank just because they see how winnable Texas is. And so even if Taylor spends the rest of this year not legislating, but only on committee assignments and the other small duties that they do when the legislature's not in session, that is, a small part of the equation here when it comes to how important this race was for Texas and for Tarrant County when it comes to the 2026 midterms.
Well, if I hear you correctly, you are predicting a solid blue wave in Tarrant County, just like Dallas County saw back in 2006.
Yes, exactly right. I don't know if you know, my dad was actually one of the judges that ran for office and flipped Dallas County in 2006. And I'm really proud and happy to hopefully build on his legacy and do the same thing here in Tarrant County 20 years later. I think we're going to have a full clean sweep here in Tarrant County of all of our county-wide races and several of our districts as well.
Allison Campolo, Chairwoman of the Tarrant County Democratic Party. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack. Really appreciate you having me on.